What is up, my dudes? FussyShoe here, and today I'm going to go over 10 crucial tips you need to follow in PlayerUnknown'S Battlegrounds if you want to win those delicious, crispy chicken dinners. Alright, so first we're going to start off with tip number 1, which is don't overloot. Overlooting can cost you a lot of time, especially if you're jumping and you get close to the edge of the circle. And if you're on the edge of that circle, you're going to be running for most, if not all of the game to try to get away from that circle. So as long as you just get what you need and kind of get out of there, then most of the time you're going to be pretty safe. And as long as you get into the circle in time, you won't have to be running from it. And then that actually gives you a better chance of maybe holding up somewhere and taking a few players out instead of like them being in front of you as you're running into the circle and taking shots at you. So I would say it's much better to go ahead and get only the things that you need first, instead of stashing up on all the loot you can. Get your essentials like your gun, your ammo, your backpacks, helmet, and vest, and just get out of there, because you can always get into the circle and go ahead and start looting, and then you can fill up with anything that you want, really. Tip number 2, share the wealth. So a lot of people, when they go into Battlegrounds, especially on squad modes, they're going to pick up stuff and they're either going to have way too much of it, or they're just not going to need it at all. And a lot of people, they'll just keep it and hold on to them. But if you have a teammate and that teammate needs that, make sure you call it out. Say, hey, I got a level 2 helmet over here, or hey, I got a stock for an M4, something like that. If you have something extra, even say you have like 200 rounds of 5.56 ammo, or 7.62, or vice versa, or even med kits or med packs or anything like that, go ahead and split those up amongst your team. So when you do get into a firefight, when you do encounter that person, that or that squad, you guys can go ahead and split those things up. And when you split those things up, it's going to make it easier for everyone in the team to get those kills and you guys to get those chicken dinners. Tip number 3, hit the dirt. Alright, I'm saying this because normally in late game, you're going to do most of the things that you're doing crawling. And I'm saying that because most of the circles, if not ending in the middle of open fields, they're going to end on mountaintops that have grass and trees and all other sorts of types of like landmarks, or just dirt or anything, grass in general. So what you can do is actually lay down and crawl those final minutes of that last circle, or the second to last circle, and in hopes that someone else will pop up before you, so you can go ahead and get the ending kill or close to the ending kill. Tip number 4, don't use vehicles in the late game. I'm saying this because it's going to make you a bigger target for one, and especially if the circle's so small, you really don't need to use those vehicles, because if you do use those vehicles, then like I said, you're going to be a bigger target and people are going to be more inclined to shoot at you. It's really just, I mean, it's really all your preference, but if you think that you're going to make it in a small circle with a vehicle, 9 times out of 10 you're probably not going to live, just for the fact that they're all going to shoot at you and blow it up, or they can hit you from the inside. Now the only thing I would suggest, if you're ever going to try this, is maybe getting in the vehicle and then getting out on the opposite side of the vehicle you got in to use it for cover. That would be the only way I would say use this, unless you have a whole squad firing at you that with big weapons that can destroy the vehicle in a few seconds. Tip number 5, don't be overly aggressive. So as soon as you go down and you guys are like fighting other people, I would say to hold off. Actually, don't. Other people are going to try to like come at me with this and say, hey, no, you should be as aggressive as possible to get those people out of there. I do not agree with that, because the goal of the game is actually to get to the end of the game and then do your killing and then win the game. So what I would say is don't be overly aggressive. Stay back in the shadows, stay in those houses, lay down, only fire when you need to. And to point on that, actually, when you fire, make sure you fire as a team. Because if you just fire as one person, and without telling them, hey, I'm firing, then they're going to know exactly where that one shot came from. But if you all fire as a team, maybe even if you're in the same area, they're going to hear more than one shot, and it's going to kind of throw them off. So I would say only fire when you need to, and kind of, you know, stay back and then wait to do your killing maybe at the end of the game. It's probably the best bet. Tip number 6, do not underestimate the pan. The pan is an amazing tool. I'm so glad they added that pretty early on, actually, from the beginning stages to where the pan didn't do anything. And if you guys don't know that, actually, if you put a pan back behind you, bullets will actually fly off that if it gets hit. It's actually saved my life more than one time. So I would recommend trying it if you haven't. It's actually a really good tactic, especially in late game if you're laying on the ground and someone's trying to shoot you from behind. Tip number 7, use bait. So a lot of people probably don't know about this actually, but if you go into a house and you're going to stay there for a long time, especially if you're in the middle of a circle and you're just waiting things out, I would say put down some med kits maybe. And actually, when you put those med kits down and you see someone come in the house, more than likely they're going to pick those things up or try to pick those things up, and that's when you can blast them. So just put that bait out there, because like I said, if someone comes into a house and they see it's all been looted, they're probably going to just turn around and walk away. So leave some stuff on the floor there, put your own things out, let them pick stuff up, because if they do that, then it's going to give you the chance to fire at them before they even know you're there. Tip number 8, use rain to your advantage. So what I mean by that is actually SMGs and shotguns and also suppressors are a lot easier to get away with in those rain maps, because they will, they'll suppress things even further. That rain is really loud and it's really hard to hear like small weapons like the SMGs or even the pops of the shotguns. So I would say if you're on those rain maps, use those weapons and focus more on those weapons, because if you don't, you're still going to get those loud weapons. It's going to be easy to hear. People will still know where you're shooting from. But with the SMGs, the shotguns, and especially the suppressors on that map, it's really hard to kind of get a grip from where you're getting shot at from, which makes it easier for you to get those kills. Tip number 9, use callouts. So what I mean by callouts is, say you and your team are laying down in an area and you're prone into the grass, right? Your teammate says, I see a guy, but you're like, where is he? And your teammate's like, he's over that hill over there. Well, what hill? Well, what I mean by callouts is, say, hey, I've got a guy moving 165, and then you call it out twice. Normally, you can have time to look and turn around and see those people running, and you can say, hey, yeah, I got him. And then if someone says, I didn't hear you, use another call out. It's a lot of the time it's actually overlooked, and you don't even know that you're not calling out. You just kind of get caught in the heat of the moment. But if you can focus yourself and actually call those call outs correctly, most of the time it's going to be a lot better fight for you and your team. And last but not least, tip number 10, get good. And what I mean by that is just put a lot of time into the game. I'm currently sitting at around 330 hours in the game. And I'm still not really that good, so I can actually use this tip for myself. But it really just takes time to learn your aiming and kind of learn, like I said, those callouts, or learn like what weapons do best in what environments, and how well suppressors work from different ranges. Should I take vehicles? All those types of things. Hopefully these tips are going to help you actually get good, so you can actually become a really well-known PUBG player, get yourself up on the ranked list, and hopefully do what you want to in the game and make it to where it's fun for you and you're not just getting wrecked every time you start a game. Like I said, bros, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you dudes coming in and watching my videos and everything. You can always catch me on my stream from Monday through Friday. I stream from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Mountain Time. You can catch me on that, or even Saturdays I stream from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. Mountain Time. If you guys want to come check those out as well, make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you come to the Twitch and throw a follow. And it's going to be a great day, my dudes, and you guys take care. I really appreciate all your support.